10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, my friends, and thank you so much for choosing to spend part of your Tuesday, March 5th with me, 2024. It's 5 o'clock here on Long Island, and it is a rainy day. But I come to you today with breaking news on the case that we discussed. I don't even know what day that was. Was it Sunday? Was it Monday? We're going to talk about it in a couple of minutes because the video that I did for you last is still unfriendly to advertisers on YouTube because you can't report the news anymore, you guys. You just can't report the news. Lost that appeal. Oh, I remember that show was Sunday night because I said it's Sunday. It's going to take a while for them to even review it. But hey, whatever. Guess what? I got a sponsor. I have a sponsor now, so that's going to be starting soon. So we can really talk about whatever we want now. Yay, us. Yay, us. So you may recall last week we discussed on Thursday morning at approximately 8:41 a.m. a couple of girls were walking to the local high school in Babylon, New York, here on the South Shore of Long Island. And they found an arm in a tree on Siegel Boulevard in Babylon, bordering Southard's Pond Park. It was in a tree and it was tattooed and it was just an arm. The young girl who found it, who was a teenager, said that she thought perhaps it was some sort of a joke or a Halloween costume or something. She called her dad. Her dad came down, confirmed that it was, in fact, human remains, and he called local police. Police came down. They searched 20 feet into the bramble. You know, the bramble here on Long Island is real. They found the other arm of a male. Victims have not yet been identified, Rosie. At least they have not released the identities of the victims to the public because perhaps they are waiting to notify next of kin. Subsequent to the finding of those arms, Suffolk County PD brought out their canine units and they searched 19 acres of bramble and park with those canine dogs. And guess what those guys found? Those dogs are amazing. On the other side of the park, about a mile away on the west side, they found some female parts, a head, a leg, an arm. And there's some conflicting reports about whether or not another head was found. The Post said there were two heads. Not a lot of the other news organizations picked up on that. So I changed the title of my last video, which is probably why it got stricken, because of the title. It said head, legs, arms, whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. If anybody out there has the key to the YouTube algorithm, please let me know. I have a spreadsheet of all the words that get demonetized and I don't use them, but it doesn't matter. They just don't like me here on YouTube. So you know what you can do for me is just hit that like button. Hit the like button, because on that stream on Sunday night, guess what I did? I posted the picture of the arms. It was a blurred out picture that the Post had published with the tattoos. And the tattoos got out there because not a lot of people who watched that stream, and there were about 2,000 of you. I think by the time the stream was over, it already had 8,000 views. So at least 8,000 pairs of eyes saw the tattoos from my channel. And who knows if it was one of you who called Suffolk County PD and identified the male victim in this case. They are saying now that they think, it's not been confirmed, there may be a love triangle involved here. A love triangle. So after they did the search of the park, remember we discussed that they reopened the park on Friday night. And we're thinking, oh, aren't there still some things missing? Like, you know, torsos and such. Well, they found some more stuff, you guys. They found some more stuff. They found a torso in Bethpage State Park. Now, if Bethpage State Park sounds familiar to you, maybe because you're a golfer, it's the home of the Bethpage Black Golf Course. It's where the 2002 and 2009 U.S. Opens were held. U.S. Open golf, that is. not to be confused with US Open tennis. It was also the home of the 2019 PGA Championship, and it will be the home of the 2025 Ryder Cup. It was supposed to be 2024, but it was pushed due to the panny. So now it's going to be the 2025 Ryder Cup that will be held at Bethpage Black Golf Course, which is one of the most amazing golf courses in the world, if I do say so myself. Only issue with Bethpage Black is that you can't bring a cart. You have to have a pull cart. So for those of you who are golfers, if you've ever played at Bethpage Black, if you know, you know. There's a couple of other golf courses there too, but the Black Course is the best, and it's world famous. Well, anyway, that's where they found a torso. They also searched a wooded area in Babylon off of, can I read my crazy notes? Lakeway Drive, where some more remains were found. And last night, Suffolk County Police banged down a door with a battering ram, with a legit battering ram, like something you see on TV, at 25 Railroad Avenue in Amityville, Long Island. We're going to look at a map in a second, so don't feel lost if you're not from here. So they banged the door down at 25 Railroad Avenue in Amityville, and the New York Post is reporting at least 4 people are in custody. They have not released the identities of the people who are in custody. They have said that they believe, or that I guess they've confirmed it. They probably are just not releasing the identities of the victims yet because of the next of kin issue. The remains belong to a 59-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man who both resided in the same home or at the same address in Yonkers, which is Westchester County here in New York. So let's take a look. Before we do anything, let's take a look at a map. So those of you who are not from here may know what we are talking about and the locations that we are talking about. So we're going to zoom in on the part down here first. Okay, so you remember on Sunday when this story was breaking, we looked first at Southard's Pond Park because that is the place where the initial remains were found by the high school girls who were walking to school. And that is over here. This is Babylon. This is Southard's Pond Park, which I showed you was in Babylon, which is due north of Gilgo Beach. For those of you who are following the Long Island serial killer case, this is Gilgo Beach right here, due south. This is not a fly on your screen. It is my cursor. The route from Southard's Pond Park to 25 Railroad Avenue in Amityville, which is the house that was searched with a search warrant late last night. And according to accounts from neighbors, the police were there all night long talking to people. The street was blocked off. Let's see, Southard's Pond Park from this address in Amityville, which that's where it seems that they arrested people and they had a search warrant for the home and they banged the door down, is about 7 miles. 7 miles from Amityville, from that home in Amityville to Southard's Pond Park. Obviously, if you go this way on Route 27, which is Sunrise Highway, or Montauk Highway, rather. Is that Sunrise or Montauk? Sunrise. It's probably a little bit shorter. So let's say about 7 miles. Then from Railroad Avenue to Bethpage State Park, where the torso was found, which is right here, home of the Bethpage Black Golf Course. It's about 5.6 miles. Remember when we did all the cold cases from the 80s, and we were trying to see if there was a connection between the cold cases and Rex Heuermann, the accused Long Island serial killer? We were noticing that a lot of these women were found on golf courses. We have a lot of golf courses on Long Island. I think Joel Rifkin also used golf courses as a dumping ground, if I'm not mistaken. The other location that they searched where they found some remains was right here on Lakeway Drive in Babylon in a wooded area, which, as you can see, is not very far from Southard's Pond Park. Just a hop, skip, and maybe 2 miles. So, like one of my amazing moderators, retired law enforcement, suggested the other night in the chat, and I think we also heard Tracy Walder on News Nation, who is retired both FBI and CIA, say they maybe have been in a hurry dumping those body parts, and if they dumped some of them over here at Southard's Pond Park and then put the torso, some additional remains over here at Lakeway Drive in the woods, and then we know at least a torso was found at Bethpage State Park. Crazy, my friends, crazy. And I just mapped the route for you to Yonkers. So Yonkers, where the individuals who have not yet been publicly identified lived, is right up here in Westchester County along the Hudson River, north of Manhattan. If you can see right here. That is where the victims resided together, apparently. Now that you have the lay of the land, we can move on and look at some media, because this is crazy. And the story keeps changing. In fact, they have not had a press conference yet. Some of these articles that I'm reading refer to a statement by Suffolk County Police. I went to their website again, just like I did with you the other day, and the press release page of their website is still under construction. Nothing to see here, folks. So I haven't seen it. But here's some news, local news reports from earlier this morning. And this is from NBC4 New York.
Good morning. I'm Gilma Avalos. We begin with breaking news, though. Multiple people arrested after human remains were found in a park in Babylon, Long Island. And now authorities are searching another location for more evidence. News 4's Greg Sergel is in Amityville with the latest, and there are more possible crime scenes, Greg.
Shout out to Greg Sergel, who I have known. First of all, he's a Suffolk County local, but I have known him since I handled the Catholic Church cases against the Rockville Center Diocese here on Long Island in 2002. He was covering my stories then, and he's covering the stories I'm reporting on now. So shout out to Greg Sergel for a long and storied career. He's really an amazing reporter and a great guy.
And Gilma, it was a law enforcement source that confirmed for News 4 that multiple arrests have been made in connection with the discovery of those human remains in Babylon Village last week. Right now, we don't know how many people were taken into custody or what the charges might be. And at the moment, Suffolk police have yet to actually confirm that the arrests have been made. But the Suffolk Police homicide commander and other investigators have been on the scene here in Amityville for much of the morning. They've been searching a home here on Railroad Avenue. The homicide commander left without comment, so we don't exactly know what connection this home has to the case. We've also heard today from state police, a state police spokesperson telling us that state investigators helped to process a crime scene this morning inside Bethpage State Park. That crime scene apparently connected to this body parts case. Again, right now, we don't know what, if anything, was found at that location this morning. But of course, last week, Suffolk police found 6 body parts at Southard's Pond Park in Babylon Village, the body parts belonging to a man and a woman. At last word, police told us they were still trying to identify those victims. Those identities have yet to be released, but it appears that the evidence investigators found did help them lead to these arrests that a law enforcement says were made this morning. We'll update the story as more information comes into us, but for now, we're live in Amityville. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Greg, thank you for the latest.
Again, with that breaking news, multiple.
Okay, and this is going to roll right into CBS Channel 2 News, New York, from this morning, and we'll hear what they have to say. This is what we woke up to this morning. Welcome to Long Island, but at least solve this one relatively quickly. Gives a whole new meaning to Amityville horror, doesn't it? Amityville horror in the news again. Some people, when I asked you the other day what you think of when you think of Long Island, there was only one person who said Amityville horror. And there was only one person who said Joey Buttafuoco, which I thought was funny.
People are in custody right now on Long Island after body parts were found. Again, with that breaking news, multiple people are in custody right now on Long Island after body parts were found in a Babylon park. Investigators made the grisly discovery at Southard's Pond Park last week. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff joins us live from Amityville, where police detained multiple people today. And Carolyn, they discovered more human remains?
Yes, we'll get to that in just one moment. But first, we'll tell you that we don't yet know who they are, but we know that arrests have been made in connection with this grisly mystery. Suffolk police have been seen in and around this house behind me in Amityville overnight and again this morning with crime scene vehicles. Several law enforcement sources are telling me that multiple people are in custody and there have been arrests connected to the discovery last week of body parts on the perimeter of Babylon Village's Southern Pond Park. You may recall school children made the initial discovery, and then police searched and found more body parts, in all the head, legs, and arm of a female victim and the arms of a male victim. And then now, Jessica, getting to what you mentioned today, there are more body parts. A source telling me, a law enforcement source on all of this, telling us that a torso was found at Bethpage State Park. Unknown if that discovery is related to the other body parts, but New York State Police confirmed that they are assisting Suffolk Police on the investigation at Bethpage State Park. So to recap, several law enforcement sources telling me that arrests have been made in connection to these body parts found now in Babylon, about 20 minutes from this location behind me in Amityville. We do not yet know the identities of the victims or those arrested, but we are expecting to get more details later today. That's the latest from Amityville, Long Island. Carolyn Gussoff, CBS 2 News.
Carolyn, thank you. And Carolyn, will continue to follow.
So it seems that New York State investigators joined the search this morning, at least. I think she said this morning, at Bethpage State Park. And I'm not sure if that's because it was on state property. Obviously, Bethpage State Park is state property. Or if they asked for help, which is very, very interesting and great. I mean, it's great that the Suffolk County Police Department and New York State Police can cooperate together. And there was no turf wars over whose case it was. And, you know, the fact that they were letting them come in and help them is a great thing. So the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to investigations. Here is what Newsday is saying this morning. Let's take a look at their video. Newsday is Long Island's newspaper, owned by the Dolan family, who also owned Madison Square Garden, the New York Rangers, I think the Knicks, the Sphere in Las Vegas, many, many other things. FiOS, I believe they used to own Cablevision. It's a very wet day on Long Island, so not a good hair day for anybody today.
We're here in Amityville this morning, where law enforcement sources have confirmed to Newsday that multiple arrests have been made in connection with that Babylon body parts investigation. At this point, we don't know who was arrested or how many people were arrested. What we do know is Suffolk police were seen conducting a search warrant at a home here on Railroad Avenue in Amityville. A Suffolk Police mobile command center was parked outside of the home overnight. It is gone now. However, we did just recently see crime scene investigators removing a brown paper bag from the home with potentially evidence inside. Now, as we've reported, detectives did say last week that the body parts found at Southard's Pond Park belonged to both a man and a woman. Investigators telling us they believed those parts were not outside very long. possibly days or even hours. So again, here in Amityville, where Newsday has been able to confirm there were multiple arrests made in connection to the body parts investigation. We are hoping to get an update from police sometime later on today. That's the very latest here in Amityville. I'm Shari Einhorn for Newsday TV.
Poor Shari. She had the bus going by, the the traffic going by. She couldn't get a break there. So here's the latest this morning from Newsday. Actually, it may have been updated since then. I'll read a little bit to you, since I know a lot of you like to listen to me while you're in the car or on a walk or walking your dog, and you won't be able to read this yourself. So this was just updated today at 4:27 p.m. It is currently 5:23 p.m. So within the past hour, this was updated by Newsday. Investigators were questioning people arrested early Tuesday in Amityville in connection with the discovery of human body parts found in a popular Babylon Village park last week, according to law enforcement sources, while Suffolk police said additional remains were also discovered at Bethpage State Park and in a wooded area in West Babylon. The remains discovered at Bethpage State Park and in West Babylon on Tuesday are believed to belong to the same man and woman whose body parts were discovered last week at Southern's Pond Park in Babylon, police said. You may remember also that when we covered this on Sunday, the Southern's Pond Park borders an elementary school in Babylon, and the police were searching outside the windows of the elementary school on the side where they found the female parts on the west side of the park, and the teachers were told to discreetly close their blinds so that the children in the elementary school would not be distracted by the police activity outside. The female victim is a 59-year-old woman whose name is being withheld pending notification of her next of kin. The male has been tentatively identified as a 53-year-old man whose name is also being withheld. Their last known address was in Yonkers, police said, but it is not clear when they last resided there. Based on the investigation, this appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to the public, Suffolk police said in a statement Tuesday afternoon. The investigation is continuing. Human remains were discovered Tuesday in the woods across from a home on Lakeway Drive in West Babylon, about 3 miles from where the woman's remains were found in Southern Pond Park. Okay, so just to break from this for a second, originally they said it was about a mile away. Now they're saying it was 3 miles away. The scene was processed by the Suffolk County Police Homicide Squad and the Suffolk County Medical Examiner. Additional remains were found in Bethpage State Park, police said, approximately 8 miles away. That scene was processed by New York State Police and the Suffolk Medical Examiner. Law enforcement sources said multiple people were arrested early Tuesday, after a search warrant was executed at a 2-story home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville. The sources said criminal charges were pending and that arraignments for the arrested people had not been scheduled as of Tuesday afternoon. I'll break from that for a second to tell you that they will probably wait to arraign them until tomorrow morning. You guys can, my law enforcement friends in the chat can let me know what you think about that hypothesis. They have a nice map here for us, so let's take a look here. Here's where the remains were found in West Babylon in a wooded area across from Lakeway Drive in West Babylon on March 5th. That is today. The scene was processed by the Suffolk County Police Homicide Squad and the Office of the Suffolk County Medical Examiner. Here to the left of your screen is where the human remains were found in the state park at an undisclosed location at Bethpage State Park on March 5th. The scene was processed by New York State Police and the Office of the Suffolk County Medical Examiner. Wonder why they're saying undisclosed location. That makes me think that it was the golf course, which is ironic, incidentally, because a lot of people spread their loved ones' ashes at Bethpage Black Golf Course. It's just a thing that people do, like, you know, spread my ashes on the 18th green or something. And you have to try to make sure nobody sees you, I guess, when you do that, because that would be illegal. Don't do that. Head, leg, and arm found. A canine unit located a leg sticking out of a pile of leaves Thursday afternoon in a wooded area on Graham Place between Beverly Road and Martin Place. A head and arm were also found on the west side of the park Thursday night. Police said these remains appear to belong to Okay. Well, they're not going to even let us finish that. I believe that was the 59-year-old woman. 2 arms were found on the east side of the park, as we discussed. First arm was found on the side of the road on Siegel Boulevard between Mason and Park Avenues in Babylon by a group of high school students walking to school at 8:41 a.m. That was last Thursday, February 29th. The second arm was found later Thursday, about 20 feet further into the woods. Police believe these remains are male. Here is the location of the home that was searched. His home searched. Police conducted a search of a 2-story home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville on Tuesday morning. We do know from neighbors that they banged the door down around 10:30 p.m. Monday night. So the search must have went into the morning. Maybe it took that long to get a warrant. I'm not sure. Suffolk police were seen conducting the search at the Amityville home on Tuesday morning. That's today, March 5th, 2024. A Suffolk Police Command Center vehicle was parked outside the home overnight, and 2 crime scene vehicles arrived at the home late Tuesday morning. Police were seen removing a brown bag from the home. One neighbor said he saw police wearing SWAT gear enter the home with a canine unit dogs late Monday. It's terrible to hear, said Amityville resident Chip Clark, who lives close to the Railroad Avenue home searched by police. It's a shocking thing. Definitely something to talk to my therapist about, he said. No shame in having a therapist. I think everyone should have a therapist. A man identified in public records as the owner of the Railroad Avenue house declined to comment on the search Tuesday morning before hanging up on a Newsday reporter. I read in another article that it was a rental home. So I guess that guy is the owner of the home. He's not too happy that this is happening at his rental property because he'll probably never be able to rent it again. The remains of the woman, her head, left lower leg, right upper leg, and arm were found Thursday on the west side of Southern Pond Park near Babylon Elementary School, police said last week. The discovery was found not far from where a man's severed right and left arms were found on the east side of Southern Pond Park. Detective Lieutenant Kevin Byrer, the commander of the homicide squad, said last week that police were investigating all possible motives and potential suspects. Byrer said the remains of both the man and the woman did not appear to have been outside very long, perhaps just days or even hours before they were discovered. The Suffolk Police Command Post was set up for much of Thursday and Friday near the intersection of Beverly Road and Ralph Avenue, with yellow crime scene tape obstructing public access to the park. Suffolk police were seen searching the park as well as nearby North Babylon Cemetery with the help of cadaver dogs. Investigators were also seen canvassing the area for home surveillance video. A group of high school students walking to school at 8:41 a.m. Thursday discovered the first arm belonging to the male victim on the side of the road on Siegel Boulevard between Mason and Park Avenues, about 20 feet from the eastern edge of the park, police said. We did show a blurred photo of the arm on my stream on Thursday night, which was immediately shadow banned by YouTube, but at least 15,000 sets of eyes saw the picture of that arm, and we zoomed in on the tattoos because we wanted anybody with information to get out there and call Suffolk County Police. And who knows if it was one of my viewers who did that, but I know that you guys are amazing armchair detectives, and so many of you commented in the comments about what you thought the tattoos were. Nobody really came out and said that they knew who this person was, but listen, we got to get the word out, whether YouTube likes it or not. So that's what we're doing here, and I'm going to continue to do it. It doesn't matter to me. They want to not put ads on my stream. That's better for you guys if you don't have YouTube Premium. So win-win. One of the students called their father about the discovery, and the parent then notified police, officials said. Investigators returned to the scene where the first arm was found with a canine unit and discovered the second arm, Byrer said. A police dog later found a woman's leg sticking out of a pile of leaves in a wooded area named near Graham Place and Beverly Road, police said. And that was the Newsday article that was just updated about 1 hour ago. I would like to go to the chat for a minute and see how you are all doing. And what say you? And always, Maureen Francis is always the first one on the super chat train. And I thank you so very much for your generosity every single time you come in here. I appreciate it so much. Truth and Justice as well. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate you all. My mods drop links in the chats just so that you know, because you may not know, YouTube takes 30% of all super chats. So we also put my Venmo Cash App link in there, whatever's easier for you. I'm not going to beg you for donations at all. But if you appreciate the stream and you want to tip me, hey, I'm not going to say no. And I'm just going to say thank you, because running this channel takes a lot of work, and I'm a one-woman show for now anyway. So I appreciate you all for actually watching and being an audience for me, because without you, I wouldn't even have a channel. I would have no one to talk to. Nobody else will listen to me speak for 4 hours at a time except for all of you. And I love you for it. I love you. And I have the best moderators on YouTube, and you know that I do, because so many of you find this a friendly place to watch. For example, when we watched the Maya Kowalski trial against Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, which was a horrific case out of Florida, so many people came into my chat and were welcomed with open arms. And so many of them had chronic pain disorders and other things. And they found the chats to be toxic in other places that I guess on YouTube we would call mainstream media, but they wouldn't call them mainstream media on mainstream media. You know what I'm talking about. Same thing with the Karen Reed case. There's a lot of vitriol on that case, and I'm not tolerating it. I'm not tolerating it. I'm not being paid by the defense. I don't even know anybody involved in this case. I just like to speak out about things that I feel strongly about. So my chat is very friendly. My moderators are the best. I can see that so many of them are here. Scott's here. Princess Mish is here. Patronus Glow is here. And Team Brittany is here. And she just even gifted 10 memberships. So thank you, Team Brittany, for being an amazing moderator, number one, and a very generous donor and patron of the channel. To receive a gifted membership, you have to be opted into gifts. And also you have to, YouTube just randomly hands them out. You got to be participating in the chat. YouTube distributes them. I have no say over who gets them. Oh, and really, Team Brittany, did you gift 20 memberships? Another 10? 10 and 10? Oh, girl, you are really something. I love you. I thank you. Rochella and Peter Pranzo are also in the chat. Two more of my amazing moderators. Rochella, I hope your knee is feeling better. She had surgery this week and she's recovering. And retired law enforcement, many of them. Scott, Peter, retired law enforcement, as is Dennis, who I'm not sure if Dennis is here today, but we keep the chat classy and we disagree respectfully. And here's Scott Messerschmidt, another one of my amazing moderators, who stepped in one night when I was really short, and it was a stream that I knew was going to be vitriolic. And so he stepped in, and I think he wants to stick around. So sometimes it's a thankless job, but I always try and thank you guys, because you're amazing. I really could not run this channel without you. I couldn't. And my channel members and my viewers and my replay viewers. So again, let's hit the like button, because it helps the stream get out. Feel free to share it on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you want, because once YouTube shadow bans it, the only problem is nobody sees it. So that's the problem. Hello, Sherry Davis. How does said sponsorship work? We love all that you do. Well, you're going to see. You're going to see. The show will be sponsored by a company. Actually, a company that I believe in very, very much. And a product that I believe in very, very much. Because I'm not going to sit here and pitch something to you or even recommend something to you that I wouldn't use myself and that I wouldn't think is something that is totally an important thing to have. But I can't really talk about it yet. So we're getting there. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll see. All right, let's take a look at, when was this? This was from the other night. So that's a little bit older. I want to look at channel 4, which is NBC in New York. This is a video. We already looked at that video. Okay, so they've added to that article, actually, since we watched that video with Greg Sergel. And they have said, I think this is where the love triangle comes in. No, it just went away. Just want it to go away. All right, here it is. Two sources familiar with the matter say they are looking into whether a love triangle was the motive. Homicide investigators spent Tuesday morning searching 3 different locations for further remains. That was today, this morning. Bethpage State Park, a wooded area in West Babylon, and a home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville. The latter 2 searches were not far from Southern's Pond Park in Babylon Village, where a total of 6 body parts had been recovered since kids walking to school found the first limb Thursday morning, which was last Thursday, February 29th of 2024. And again, they say, while nothing was uncovered at the Amityville home, although we did read later that they were carried a brown paper bag out of there, which must have been evidence. Remains were uncovered in the wooded area on Lakeway Drive in West Babylon, as well as Bethpage State Park, which is considerably further away from Babylon than Amityville, according to Suffolk County Police. And the map. The remains found in both locations. There's nothing funny about this, but sometimes we have to lighten the mood a little bit because otherwise, we'll just cry. And our hearts and thoughts and prayers are always, always, always with the victims. And the victims in this case have not yet been identified, so we cannot name them, but to their loved ones, to their families, thoughts and prayers, always. Nothing like this should ever happen to anyone's mother, sister, child, friend. The remains found in both locations are believed to belong to the same victims from the February 29th discovery. One of the victims, a 59-year-old woman, has been identified, though police are withholding her name until next of kin is notified. The other victim, a 53-year-old man, has been tentatively identified, police said. It's believed the 2 victims lived together with their last known address in Yonkers, which is Westchester County, according to Suffolk Police. It was unclear when they last lived there, however. Police said the deaths appear to stem from an isolated incident, and there was no ongoing threat to the public. Police didn't immediately provide any further information on the limbs found, hoping that testing the DNA and examining tattoos on one of the male arms could lead to an identification. Gang-related activity has not been ruled out. It has not been ruled out. And that was just updated 13 minutes ago. Well, I refreshed it, so let me see if they've added anything more. Talk amongst yourselves for a quick sec. Because, I want to give you the latest, greatest breaking news. No press conference yet. No, nothing more. They've updated it, but there's really nothing more to speak of. The New York Post has a little bit more information, as they always do. It's not always correct because they had been reporting, and I'm not even sure if I can confirm this yet, that they had said that 2 heads were found, and then I didn't see it anywhere else, so I changed the title of my video. Let's pull this up and take a look at it together. I do love the New York Post because they don't charge you to read their articles. They're not behind a paywall like Newsday. Okay, here's what they say. They say there are 4 people in custody as more body parts discovered scattered on Long Island after 2 heads were found. And the New York Post says 4 people were in custody after severed body parts of a man and a woman were found scattered on Long Island last week. as authorities unearthed more remains, sources told the Post. The callers came on Tuesday, that's today, March 5th, 2024. After cops raided a home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville late Monday evening, sources and neighbors said. Although cops didn't find any human remains at the home, they found more dismembered limbs hidden in Bethpage State Park and miles away in a wooded area of West Babylon, the Suffolk County Police Department said in a statement Tuesday. I still can't find that statement. That's the arm. Go back to my last stream to watch it because that one's already stricken, and hopefully maybe this one won't be struck. I don't know. Authorities believe the newly discovered remains belong to the same two people whose body parts were uncovered February 29th in Southard's Pond Park in Babylon, the release said. Cops haven't publicly identified the victims, but said in the release that the assortment of limbs belonged to a 59-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man, both of whom lived at the same address in the city of Yonkers in Westchester County. Based on the investigation, this appears to be an isolated incident with no threat to the public, the release added. The investigation is continuing. Police did not mention a possible motive for the killings. But sources told NBC New York that authorities are looking into whether the murders were linked to a possible love triangle. Here's a picture of the K9 unit. There's another K9 handler. What a cute dog. Oh, Jeanette, thank you so much for your Cash App donation. I just got a notification on my phone, so thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate you so. The first body part was found Thursday morning by a girl walking to school with a group of friends on Siegel Boulevard, which is on the east side of Southard's Park in Babylon, Suffolk County. On Monday night, battering ram wielding officers busted through the front door of one of the units on Railroad Avenue sometime around 10:30 p.m., a neighbor told the Post. There were detectives and police going into my neighbor's house, so I came over to see what was happening, she said. They had bashed in the door, and there were a bunch of people standing inside the house, cops talking to my neighbors. They had already taken some people away. She said she doesn't know much about the neighbors in question, except that they're renters who work nights and brought a number of occupants with them. Cops were here all night, she told the Post. I watched as long as I could stay awake, and when I woke up in the morning, they were all still here. One of them finally told me what they were looking for and what this was about, she said. I was terrified. I just stopped asking questions. The girl on her way to school called her dad after spotting a dismembered left arm in the bushes. Her father went to the scene and then called the cops to report the stomach-turning discovery, according to sources. Here's the bang-down door. You can see the damage. Similar, I think, to the damage. Remember when the Frankie's house, going to Utah for a second, Kevin Frankie complained that there was damage to his front door. I'm surprised that's all the damage that comes from a battering ram. See, outside of the house that they raided. Officers swept the area in a gory hunt and eventually turned up more limbs and the two unattached heads. None of the remains appear to have been in the park very long, police said Friday. Preliminarily, it appears it's a matter of a small amount of days, if not hours, Suffolk County Detective Lieutenant Kevin Byrer told reporters Thursday night. One of the heads, as well as a right arm and a leg, are thought to belong to the same female victim, law enforcement sources told the Post. The other head, as well as two arms, seem to be from the same man, they added. The man's tattooed left arm, which is missing fingertips, could mean the victim has a record, according to sources, and his killers didn't want him identified through his fingerprints because that might lead authorities to them, a source said. Police hope the tattoos will identify him. Well, I read some additional news that indicated that the fingertips on both arms were missing, both the man's arms. So I had also spoken to a source who told me it may be because the man fought back and perhaps there was DNA of whoever did this to him under his fingernails. Maybe that's why. Another person pointed out and that perhaps the fingers were needed to open certain items. A safe, a phone. The great thing about the New York Post is the comments. I always go for the comments, and I'm sure they don't disappoint. There are 1,041 comments currently on this article in the New York Post, and I'm sure they're well worth your time if you feel like digging into them later. Not right now. Don't do it right now. but maybe later. All right. Team Brittany, you are nuts, girl. Another 10 gifted memberships from Team Brittany, and then another 5. So Team Brittany has already donated today or gifted 10, 20, 30, 35 memberships. I don't even know how to thank you. I really don't, because you're amazing. You're an amazing person, and you're an amazingly generous person. And wow, just wow. You're crazy. And Jules also just became a new member. I don't know if you got a gifted one or if you doled out for it, but either way, I appreciate you. Appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. Melanie, another great name. I'm really interested in seeing the arrested. Me too. And where are they getting the info or the intel that this was a love triangle? Because this just keeps getting crazier. Like I said, this is a whole new meaning to Amityville horror. And 4 arrests. I saw somebody a comment pass by like, why 4 arrests if it's a love triangle? Well, maybe the person needed help disposing of the bodies. Dismembering takes a lot of work. And so there are always people sometimes involved with not just the taking of the lives, but the disposing of the parts. As such, if you know, you know. And I know you know. Jules Misty's finds a love triangle hard to believe. Yeah, I mean, it's in there. It's in the news. You know, we cannot confirm it yet. Seems to be the buzz. Jules, the other Jules, hello, it's the notorious Jules, is not buying this story. Somebody said Janae likes Asa for this crime. You like Asa for this crime? Hey, Scott McGinnis, mainstream media refuses to acknowledge huge organized gangs in the U.S. They hide it. Not here on Long Island, because we've had a lot of prosecutions against MS-13. A lot. We've also had a lot of crime family members arrested recently. So here on Long Island, we're kind of used to this stuff. Could it be cartel related? We don't know. Yeah, the love triangle thing. No, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Wendy Kraft is here. We do not know who is arrested yet. They have not released that information, nor have they released the identity of both victims, whose prayers and thoughts we are sending out to all of them. If anybody wants to put some prayer hands in the chat, that would be really nice. The tattoos. Yes, we have the tattoos. Somebody said, does anybody know what the tattoos look like? You can go back to my last stream on this topic and watch them. I showed a blurred out picture of them. That's right. Diane says, damn, Team Brittany, you are amazing. You are amazing. And I appreciate you so much. Nancy McCarthy, maybe we'll hear a report later tonight. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's almost 6 o'clock. I feel like if they were going to do a press conference, Suffolk County PD, they probably would have done it during business hours, but I don't know. If anybody has seen anything on Twitter that there is one upcoming, please let me know, because that would be awesome. Thank you, Truth and Justice. Thank you so much. World traveler. I didn't move from Brooklyn to deal with gangs and pay this outrageous property tax too. Oh, you are preaching to the choir. You are preaching to the choir. I was born in Brooklyn myself. It is outrageous. I think we have the highest property taxes on Long Island, maybe in the country. I don't know if anybody has any information on that, but they're wicked high from my friends in Boston. The taxes are wicked high here. Everything is expensive here. An organic gallon of milk at my local grocery store that I don't shop at is $15 right now for organic milk. At one point, a dozen eggs were up to $11 here. So, yeah. And it's not like we're on an island where they need to get a boat here, like Fire Island or, Block Island, where you need a boat to get your stuff there. We live on an island that's accessible by a roadway. So there's that. Linda says, definitely looks gang related. I wish it wasn't in Long Island. We like to say on Long Island. So if you know, you know. Not to be rude, but it's on Long Island. We like it that way. Yeah, I wish it wasn't on Long Island. I was always visiting there when I was young. Yeah, we wish so too. We wish so too. We've had our share of body parts washing up here, and we've had a lot of serial killers here, and we've had a lot of craziness here, and a lot of MS-13 cases that have been prosecuted in the past couple of years have been dismemberments with machetes. And as Scott pointed out the other night, retired law enforcement, amazing super moderator that he is, you get more time for possessing a gun than you do a machete. So go figure. Hi, Silthy. You're always bringing us the good analytic review. Melanie, thanks for having me. No, thank you for coming. I am honored to have you here. Austin says smokes are probably up to $20. Good thing we all quit smoking back in, in however long ago that was. For me, it was probably in college. But I saw somebody smoking a cigarette the other day in his car out the window, and I just looked at him and I thought to myself, oh, he's the guy keeping tobacco companies in business. Like, I thought everybody was vaping now. I didn't even know that people still smoke actual cigarettes, because you can't smoke actual cigarettes at your desk at work anymore like you used to be able to, remember? Back in the day, you could smoke in class, you could smoke in your office, you could smoke in the movie theater, you could smoke everywhere. There was nowhere that you couldn't smoke, pretty much. Diana says, Diane, sorry. So by island time, are we currently by finding body parts that are weeks, months old? No, they said they were hours old. So it was their belief that those parts, when they were found on Thursday morning, had just been dumped probably that night or the early morning hours of Thursday, February 29th. They were fresh. They were not skeletal. They were not in any way decomposed. Oh my goodness. Somebody said, Melanie said, just visited Brooklyn. A 6-pack of toilet paper at the corner store was $19. $19. Somebody else had a great comment here. Let me just find it. Dog Defender. What we hear in Southern California, property tax is ridiculous. Gas prices through the roof. I can't imagine. As retirement rolls in, my brain says, no 25 years more work. No, I think, girl, that we of the generation, what are we, Gen X? I'm Gen X. We will not be able to retire the way our parents did. There's no way. We can't. We are going to work forever. Okay. I have twins going to college next year. So wish me luck. All donations are appreciated. It's insane. Have you looked at the price of college lately? California, the difference in California is that you guys, your property tax is based on what you paid for your house. Here on Long Island, we have this crazy, random, mysterious formula called the tax assessment that nobody seems to understand what it is. And it just goes up and up and up and up every year. So it doesn't matter how long you've had your house, what you paid for your house, but the calculations here are a whole lot different. And I'll tell you that since I bought my house, my property taxes have risen more than 100%. So there's that. And that's one thing that never goes down. They never go down. Never. Thank you, Lauren, for your super chat. Political rally at that park night before. Oh, really? Are you saying at Southern's Pond Park there was a rally on Wednesday evening into Thursday morning? That's interesting. I mean, who knows if it's connected? I don't know. True Crime Junkie, the OG, same in Connecticut. Greenwich makes everything like that insane. Yeah, Greenwich, New Canaan. Yeah, you guys get your share of it too. Let's call it the tri-state area. I'm sure New Jersey isn't cheap either. Oh, you do have tax assessment every year, Dog Defender. All right. I stand corrected. Based on value 3 times what you paid in 1990. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, like how are my kids going to ever be able to afford to buy a house here? They're not. That's why everyone's moving to South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. MCOS, my daughter's coworker pays $27,000 in home tax in New York. Yeah, that's what it is for 1 acre. Come south, Melanie. I got to go somewhere because this is not becoming sustainable anymore. It's insane. It's insane. And now we are diverting, as we always do, from our topic. Yes, they arrested someone. Hello, stars above. They have arrested 4 people who are in custody for the gruesome deaths of a male and female. They have not announced the identities of either the victims because they are pending notification. The female has been identified. She's a 59-year-old woman from Yonkers. The male has been tentatively identified. He's a 53-year-old man from Yonkers. They lived at the same address. It is believed that it may have been a love triangle. I don't know how accurate that is. Sources say. 4 people were arrested at a home in Amityville this morning. And last night, that house in Amityville on Railroad, I think it was Railroad Avenue, right? Railroad Avenue. The door was banged down with a battering ram by Suffolk County police who went in and searched the home. They didn't find anything in the home except they came out with a brown paper bag of evidence, but they did find a torso at Bethpage State Park, which is where the Bethpage Black Golf Course is. They found some more remains off a street in Babylon. I think it was Lakeway Avenue in Babylon. And they are putting the pieces together. Excuse the pun. So that's all we know for now. We don't know if it's gang related. We don't know if it's cartel related. Speculation about a love triangle. Erica Olson says, love triangle, 4 arrested and 2 dead. Common Core math. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Look, it could have been, it takes a lot of work to dismember a body. It just does. It takes a lot of work. You know, could there have been people arrested for disposing of the body parts after the fact? We see people arrested on those charges all the time. Who knows if they were all 4 involved in the actual deaths? Maybe they could have been involved to either conspire before the fact, after the fact. All I can say is quick collars, Suffolk County PD, good work. They're still investigating. New York State investigators came in today to help them at Bethpage State Park, because that is a state park. Somebody said, heck of a love triangle, Team Brittany. Oh my. Yeah, you just can't make this up. Welcome to another episode of You Just Can't Make This Up. Hi, Lauren. Thank you for another super chat. Something to do with Mayor Adams and feral cats. I don't know. Brittany, really? Really, Brittany? Another 5 memberships? Holy crap. Thank you, girl. I can't. Stop. Keep your money. You're too nice. You're too good to me. That's 10, 20, 30. Team Brittany has gifted 40 memberships tonight. Can we please all give Team Brittany an amazing round of applause? She's amazing. Nitty gritty kudos for a quick arrest for sure. Community was distressed. Yes, yes, yes. And the poor school children who were afraid to go to school. New York mom Adrienne, yep. They would have taken a lot more evidence from the house if the dismemberment took place there. Agreed. They'd be walking out of there with plumbing, tiles, floorboards, who knows? It was more like a love puzzle, says Scott. Sorry, but I had to. I'll go to timeout now. That's all right. That's okay. I mean, I said, it was kind of a softball that I gave you, right? Putting the pieces together. Kind of a softball. Dan SB says, I'm sorry, San DB. I was not even close on that one. One of the triangle was peed off. Thank you for keeping it classy and using the dollar signs. I like that. But yeah, Nancy says it's a case of swingers gone wild. Oh my. La Trapeze, I don't even think is in business anymore. So where are they hanging out? I don't know. When we looked at the map, it was like, okay, this is real close to Oak Beach, where Shannon Gilbert went missing, real close to Gilgo, where the Gilgo 4 were found and the remains of 11 others were found. I don't know if anybody saw it, but Newsday did, I think it was yesterday, a beautiful article about Karen Vergata. And since we're here and we're all together, and so many of you are from Long Island, and you've been following with me the Long Island serial killer case, let's just take a quick look at that, because she's finally going to be laid to rest. And it's a great article. I would suggest, it's behind a paywall, so I don't know if you guys can get it. I actually do pay for it. All right, so let's just pull it up for a sec. since we're here, are we all willing to watch this for a minute? I don't know if Linda Vergata is in the chat today, but Linda Vergata is a viewer, a longtime viewer, who is married to Karen Vergata's cousin. And Karen Vergata is she was the first, actually. She went missing on Valentine's Day of 1996. Her legs washed up on Fire Island here on Long Island in a trash bag that same year. Her additional remains were not found until 15 years later, and she was finally identified this past fall. And I read, because I tried to reach out to some family members, I read that her father died, I think in December of 2023. And my prayer was that he had at least been notified that she had been identified, because I think she was not identified until something like October of last year. But let's pull up this article because it's behind a paywall, so nobody's going to see it unless I show it to you. If they strike me for this, well, who cares? Who cares? This channel's not about money, you guys. This channel is about spreading the truth and honoring the victims. So this was in yesterday's paper. Who was Gilgo Beach victim Karen Vergata? I'm going to play a little video in honor of Karen. Prayers up for the Vergata family. I see people saying hi to you, Linda, so I think you're here. So this is in honor of you and your family.
Surprised or shocked. Never felt that, anything like that would happen to any member of my family.
Diane Doherty is speaking about Karen Vergata, who up until last year was considered missing since 1996. Vergata has now been identified as a Gilgo Beach murder victim, formerly called Jane Doe number 7. Her partial remains were discovered on Fire Island the year she went missing, but the rest of her body wasn't found until April of 2011 near Jones Beach.
Suffolk District Attorney Ray Tierney in August identified her as this 10th victim through genetic genealogy, which is what the FBI has been using to assist in the case.
Newsday's Anthony DiStefano has been looking into her life since she was identified and the path that ultimately led to her death at just 34 years old.
She had a life that had a lot of promise.
Vergata was born in Roslyn and raised in Glen Head, attending North Shore High School. She had 2 children, Gary and Eric, now 35 and 33. After losing custody of them at a young age, they were adopted by a couple in Wisconsin.
She knew that she was not capable, she was not willing or able, maybe, to give up her drug addiction.
For a while, Doherty says they would all get together and that Vergata had a good relationship with the kids.
She had a sweet personality. She presented herself well every time I saw her.
But when the boy's birth father died unexpectedly, court records obtained by Newsday show Vergata's life took a turn.
And her life after that became a series of drug arrests and loitering for prostitution arrests in New York City.
In February of 1996, Vergata disappeared. Now finally found, her boys have some closure, and Doherty says there's a sense of relief.
I am happy. I'm very happy. The boys are very happy. They were worried about her. They found out what had happened.
Now they're in the process of getting Vergata's remains from Suffolk police so she can be cremated and eventually buried with her boys.
She didn't just abandon them totally, and it was not her choice. Somebody made the choice for her in a very brutal way.
Vergata's death has not been linked to Rex Heuermann, who's been charged with killing 4 women found near Gilgo Beach. The search for who's responsible continues nearly 3 decades later. Reporting for Newsday TV, I'm Macy Eglund.
It has not been linked to Rex Heuermann, but. Attorney John Ray, who has been representing the family of Shannon Gilbert, for almost 15 years, had a witness come to him recently who said in a sworn affidavit that she went to Rex Heuermann's house for a swingers party with her boyfriend, who was a New York NYPD detective. They picked up a woman that she swears is Karen Vergata near Port Authority in New York City, brought her with them to Rex Heuermann's house in Massapequa, and left her there. And when they left, Karen Vergata may have been running around outside with no clothes on. Rex Heuermann was in the backyard burning things in February. This was Valentine's Day, around Valentine's Day, which is around the time that she went missing. And so while Rex Heuermann has not been connected to this murder yet, who knows what will come to pass, and justice for Karen Vergata. It's a really nice article, and it talks about her children and how they're going to be able to now give their mom a funeral, and that her cremated remains. Here's how it starts. This is by the author is Anthony DeStefano. Karen Vergata is home again. Her cremated remains are being returned to her sons after almost 30 years amid a sprawling police investigation into a serial killer on Long Island. Vergata was identified in August as a Gilgo Beach victim with scientific techniques not available when she went missing in 1996. Gary Darty, 35, and Eric Darty, 33, said they are grateful for the chance to give their mother a dignified funeral. And that is how it begins. Prayers up for the Vergata family. And Linda, if you're here, always my thoughts and prayers are with your family. As my thoughts and prayers are with the families of the victims who were savagely murdered and dumped in Babylon, Long Island, last Thursday. More remains were found on Friday. A torso was found either today or yesterday at Bethpage State Park, which is the home of Bethpage Black Golf Course, for those of you who are golfers, the home of many U.S. Open golf tournaments, the PGA Championship, and will host the Ryder Cup in 2025. 4 people have been arrested, according to sources, from a house in Amityville, Long Island. Not to be confused with the Amityville Horror House, but this is another horror happening out of Amityville. The victims have not yet been identified. The arrestees have not yet been identified. Sources are saying it may have been a love triangle, but there's not much more that we know right now. We cannot even rule out that it was not gang related or cartel related. For those of you just turning in, hi, Jason Smith. How are you? It's been a long time. I was wondering what happened to you. Hello, cupcakes. Hi, Debbie Dunn says, I usually listen in the car, so I don't get to participate in the chat. Well, welcome. Welcome. We're so happy to have you. Thanks for chiming in. Thank you. Cheryl is another one of my amazing moderators. Prayers go out to the victims and their families. Also, another one of my amazing moderators, my queen of the moderators, Miss Donna Marie. You may notice has been not around lately. She is going through some health struggles, and I prayers up for Miss Donna Marie. I'm sure that she would love for all of you to send her healing vibes, good vibes, thoughts, and prayers, because she would like them. And that's what we do here. So thanks, you guys. I know you guys love Donna Marie too, as much as I love Donna Marie. Katrina Mullis says, my friend fell victim to trafficking in the 80s. I only hope and pray she got out sometime. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Oh, and here's Linda Vergata coming in. Thank you, Melanie, and everyone. She says, I appreciate you showing the video. And speaking of Karen, of course, you know, Linda, if you want to reach out to me and you want to email me, we could do a whole tribute show to her. If you want to come on, if anybody in the family wants to come on, I would like to do a tribute show to her. So, you know, feel free to email me. My email is in the channel description, or the mods can drop it in the chat like they usually do. Yep. Hot messy cards. You could smoke in the courthouse back in the day. Yeah. Crazy. New York mom Adrian, thank you for the coverage. I pray all the violence stops soon. I know that it probably won't, but keeping the faith. Yeah, you know what? You're a mom too. I'm a mom too. We're New York moms. And we are, what did I say? We are Gen X. So here's the thing about Gen X kids. We grew up in school. The worst thing we ever had was the fire drill. We had a fire drill in school every now and then, and we'd all have to go outside, and it was cold or whatever, and we'd mill about on the blacktop outside the portables and have a fire drill. Our parents' generation had to deal with those bomb drills, hiding under the desk and stuff. And our children are now having to deal with not only active shooter drills, which breaks my heart, but now to have these elementary school children knowing that body parts are found right outside their elementary school in Babylon is even more chilling. Our children have been through so much. This generation of children. What are we calling these kids? Gen Z, the ones after millennials. They have been through so much trauma. They will never recover from what was done to them during the panty and the remote learning and the lack of socialization and the mask. They will never recover from that socially, scholastically, emotionally. So traumatic. And the recurring nightmare I used to have as a kid was that I forgot my locker combination, or that I showed up at the end of the year for a final and I forgot to study. And my kids are having nightmares about school shootings, and that breaks my heart. And I don't know what we can do about it, but I wish there was something that we could do about it, because every single day the news gets worse. And you notice what I cover. I can't cover these cases of these 14-year-old girls who are murdered by their mom's boyfriend, and then they find videos on his phone of what he did to her. I can't. My heart won't let me do it. So I'm doing stuff that I believe in passionately about that is not going to break my heart and make me cry through the whole entire stream, because nobody wants to see that. It's happened before. And like those Fonnie Willis hearings, which I found to be incredibly funny. I get huge numbers on those streams, but no, listen, and I didn't cover it politically. Those of you who watched it, no. Fonnie Willis was like a Saturday Night Live skit that went on for days. No matter which side of the political aisle you are on, it should infuriate you. It should infuriate you if you believe that Trump's interfered with the election in Georgia. It should infuriate you that Fonnie Willis hired her boyfriend to be the special prosecutor and paid him $652,000, because more and more information is coming out now. It's pretty much locked in that that's true. And if you believe that Trump did nothing wrong, you should be infuriated that this woman was allowed to proceed with such an important case for everyone, for the country. This is such an important case. And it's becoming a laughing stock. So go back and watch those shows, because they were funny. And those of you that were in the chat, go for the chat, because the chat was hilarious. You guys were on fire that day. You guys were on fire. Yeah, you can't say that. Scott, I'm deleting that comment. I'm deleting that comment about the depends. We can't. Yes, Nancy, thank you. Fannie Willis. I called her Take a Load Off Fannie, because, I think in song lyrics. Jason Smith, if you're here, you know where that comes from. Fannie Willis is entertaining despite being a low blow to the taxpayers. Yeah, you have to find the lighter side sometimes. Yep. Patty says, my mother used to tell me about the air raids and all the candles, all lights out and so clear. Yep. I think Gen X, our generation, kind of had the childhood that everybody wanted, right? We were allowed to go ride our bikes out until it got dark. We could walk to our friends' houses. We didn't have cell phones. We needed a quarter to find a payphone to call our parents to say we were going to be late. Nobody knew where we were all the time. Nobody had an app that had our location on it. We had some sense of privacy. It was a really different time. It was a more innocent time, and I miss it. Linda says, it's awful. I worked in a school for 28 years, and if I had a child in school today, I'd be a wreck. My son is 31, and I worry about his workplace. Yes. Hi, Stephanie. Yes, you can read the chats back when you watch a replay. Yes, I normally do. Somebody, oh, you know who it was? Recovery Addict says, Or he said the other day on his stream that he has never watched one of his own replays ever. I watch all of mine because I go back and read the chat because I don't get to read it while I'm talking usually. So I love to go back and read the chat. So yes, I can read it and you can read it too. It takes a while to populate though after the stream, after we end the stream. It could take like an hour or two to populate it. Oh, and by the way, YouTube, I think, was down this morning for some period of time, as was Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And you would have thought from the coverage I was watching, JB, I was watching JB's coverage on YouTube, you would have thought the world was ending. Like people were incensed, infuriated. And that's why I don't do social media. Like if you can't survive without Facebook or Instagram for an hour, I think it's time to focus on other things. I'm just saying. I know we all love YouTube, and I don't think YouTube was affected as much or for as long as Instagram and Facebook. But what is that saying about our society? I'm frightened. The banks were down too, Scott. I didn't go to the bank today, so I don't know. I mean, was it a major hack? It's going to happen one of these days. Everything, if you guys watch movies, you've seen them. Everything's going to get hacked and the grid is going to go and, you know, your electric car is not going to work if you have an electric car. I'm just saying, as I go off on another tangent. Thank you, Ann Vroom. Always a wonderful part of our conversations, even when we don't always agree, Ann. You're always very respectful and we love to disagree. By the way, Attorney Melanie Little, in my opinion, the congratulations should go to your new sponsor for being smart and lucky enough to be able to be a part of your channel. Oh, thank you. I think it's a good fit. So we'll see. We'll see what you guys think. Yes, Katrina Mullis. I always want to say Mullins because I have friends named Mullins, but we settle business face-to-face and no keyboard warriors. That's right. If you wanted to attack someone or bully them, you had to find them in the schoolyard or slip a note in their locker. It couldn't be done online. Austin was wondering what everyone was posting memes about with Zuckerberg turning off Facebook. Yeah. Buzzing for truth. And this is truth. You have issues if you cannot put the social media down. I don't go on Facebook anymore, and I'm happier than I've ever been. Really. I mean, I think that people who are on Facebook all the time are just, they have major FOMO because they're jealous of everything their friends are doing, all the places they're going. Everyone's in Aruba. Everyone's here. My life sucks. Look at their marriage is so happy. Their kids are so successful. Everyone's gotten into these great colleges. And look at how high achieving these people are. I'll tell you something. People who post about, aside from the Pranzos, I'm going to exclude you guys from this. People who post on Facebook about how amazing their marriage is are usually the next people to get divorced. I'm just saying, come for me in the comments. Come for me in the comments. I have merch that says it. Come for me in the comments. Just do it respectfully. If you can see that, I don't know. The light's in the way. Well, this was fun. One of the members of the Swingers Club didn't get the memo. Yeah. The banks were down and they haven't said boo about it. Jason says, Mel, I think they're doing away with the live chat replay. It's not on many of the video, on mine, because I always make sure that I click that button. I'm going to go on there right now because I always, you know what they did? Here's what they did, Jason. They unclicked live chat replay as the default. So when I do my customization before I go live, I always go in and I check live chat replay. And I uncheck the live reactions because I find those hearts that go up the chat to be incredibly distracting for people that are trying to read the chat. So that may be why. Maybe certain creators don't know that it's now set to default. It's now set to default. A global crash, they said? Huh. Said Linda Vergata. Redtail says, agreed, Melanie. Addiction to social media is the thing. Very sad. Very sad. JW says, I think people are worried about the grid going down, not social media. You should have seen JW. Go back and watch the coverage from this morning. I'm telling you, people were freaking out. Freaking out. Remember when the grid did go down in New York City? I don't remember what year it was, but there was a huge blackout in New York City. It's happened more than once, but I mean the last time that had happened. It was crazy. And then then they got the looting and all the other issues that go along with the blackout. Oh my God, Sally Eve. I'm a boomer and I walk to and from school every day. However, a man did try to lure me into his car one day. I was 10. I ran. I lived in Staten Island. Generally, it was safe. Didn't happen often. Sally, did it not happen often, or did we just not have the 24/7 news cycle where every single thing was blown up and broadcast out there? I don't know. Because when I started digging into like the Long Island cold cases from the 80s, so many girls went missing. So many of them. It's just that we had one newspaper. No, we had like Newsday, if you're on Long Island, the New York Times, the New York Post, and the Daily News, right? And that was it. So if you didn't read the paper, you wouldn't see it. And we had like a 5 o'clock news and maybe a 6 o'clock news and maybe an 11 p.m. news, when we had 3 stations. So interesting. Thank you. Another one of my amazing moderators, Gadsden Freedom Outdoors, also retired law enforcement. The question with that is, are you prepared? Yeah, I mean, do we need to have these bunkers? Do we need to build these safe rooms like, people have and pay a lot of money for? Like Jody Hildebrandt had in her lower level of her home, although I don't think she was preparing for the grid going down or the zombies. And there's the doomsday preppers. I did another stream on that when that Blaze Thibodeau went missing, that young boy whose mother thought he was the prophet. And she sort of like kidnapped her own son and brought him to Alaska with her brother and her daughter because they thought he was the prophet. They were doomsday preppers. There's a lot of that going on. And I'm not dissing them because maybe they've actually got the right idea. Not that he was the prophet and that they needed to flee to Alaska, but the doomsday prepping thing. I don't know. Hello, Patriot. Thank you. Still catching up on replay, but so glad you're honoring Karen Vergata. Yes. Prayers up. Scott says, I wonder if Facebook was down worldwide for several hours. Yeah. Yeah, I heard this too, Lynn. Lynn GMB says AT&T is giving $6 for their outage. Yeah, their service went out for a whole day, and they're giving everyone a $6 credit on their phone. Hope it wasn't your business cell phone and you lost tens of thousands of dollars in business that day because couldn't do any business on your phone. Please hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. It helps the channel. If you hit the subscribe button, it's free. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll get notifications when I go live. You just have to make sure you have notifications for YouTube enabled on your phone so that you will get it. Andrew says, exactly. Love to disagree. You're a worthy opponent. Yeah, we were kind of going at it on the Fonnie Willis thing, right? Was it Fonnie Willis? I think it was. We'll see what that judge is going to do. But I'm telling you, the appearance of impropriety is getting worse. Did you see that there's a new witness that came out against Fonnie Willis that says that the divorce guy, the Terrence Bradley, who testified, told her all this information about that this relationship totally started in like 2019 and that he really didn't even start representing Nathan Wade for his divorce until 2021. This is going to be such a misogosh, people. It's a shanda. It is so fakakta. I could put a million Yiddish words into one sentence, but mark my words. This is not only disbarment material for the three of them, criminal perjury charges. It's bad. It's bad. Yes, Wendy, I heard this too. Optum, right? Wendy says a major health system was hacked. We are affected at work. Wendy, that's been going on for a couple of weeks now, right? Because I have a friend also who works in healthcare and told me that Optum's been down. All the entire system is down. It's been down for a long time. So it's kind of scary. Your information is getting out there. And how are you supposed to be on top of it? It's really scary. Diane says, liars, your life isn't perfect, and we all know it. You're talking about Facebook and Instagram. I know. Yep. Scott says, yep. Tax evasion. We're back on Fonnie Willis now. Good luck, Jer Bear. Friend of the devil, Bob Weir. Yeah, I'm a deadhead. See? There's my dancing bears over there. Got a Dave Matthews poster behind me. Hung out with both them. January, February, Cancun, and many other times. Michigan. My life is a Michigan. Michigan is a good thing. Right? KS went down for 2.3. Gladys, I don't know what you're trying to say. KS, I'm trying to figure it out. KS to me means Kansas. Went down 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 3 miles. I don't know, honey, what you're trying to say, but I'll highlight your comment and say, hello, Gladys. Hello. Oh, Nancy, Fonnie should be a Netflix series. Somebody is already in the writer's room on that one, I am sure. I'm sure of it. Who would play her? Like Viola Davis or I don't know. Fonnie looked pretty good when she came to court her last appearance. She stormed out of there. Ken says, Fulton County has been hacked recently and often. And John Common says that's why the hospitals and the military bases were down. Because of the Optum. Is it a hack? I don't know. Everything's down. Peter Pranza, Verizon, AT&T, up and down. Laura Liz became a new member. Congratulations, Laura Liz. Welcome. John Common says, Fanny, take a load off. Fanny is the hack. She is the hack, my friends. This is why we have so much fun here. Thinking about doing for our members only, maybe a music trivia thing. I'm going to have it this week. Make sure your notifications are set, members, so you will know, because we do have a lot of fun stuff going on here. And you don't want to miss out. Come on. It's like hanging out with a bunch of friends. Grab your iced coffee or whatever it is that you're drinking and come on over. Sweet women, you're seeing Dave for the first time this summer. Where are you going to be? It's going to be a great tour. I may go to New Hampshire for that. Katrina says, most definitely not a cupcake, but I get the joke about it. Yeah, see, I'm not a cupcake because I can't make everyone happy. There's a pink sign over there that says it. You cannot make everyone happy. You're not a cupcake. I have 5 kids, and so I hang that. I hung it in my bedroom the whole time. I was raising these children, and you can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody. You have to tell yourself that because all your kids are not happy at the same time. So I'm not a cupcake, but my cupcakes make me happy. I make them happy. So I guess, there's a little metaphor in there somewhere. Oh my goodness. Mozzie, 66. Melanie, last week there was an outage in one of the telco companies in Australia. People couldn't get through to 000 for emergency services calls. A man died from a heart attack. Telco, sorry. Shaking my head. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Another great way to help the channel, thank you, Patronus Glow, is to shop through my link. It won't cost you any more money. You can just buy all the stuff you normally buy on Amazon. Just when you go into Amazon, just click on my link, buy all your normal stuff, have it sent to your normal place. All your stuff will be in there. It just kicks back, 25 cents to the channel or something. It's another great way to support. Everyone's got a tight budget right now. So, it's another way to help if you like what you're seeing and you like to help. And that's awesome. Shonda Rhimes, 100% should play funny. Yeah. Okay. So who was arrested? We don't know. We don't know. Rosemary's Time. 4 people were arrested out of a house in Amityville this morning after cops banged the door down last night with an actual battering ram. We're just going to do a quick recap of what happened regarding the body parts that were found in Babylon on Thursday morning. Thursday morning, a group of high school girls was walking to high school and they found a male's left arm in the bushes on the side of the road bordering Southard's Pond Park in Babylon on Siegel Boulevard. The girl thought it was a prop or something, called her dad. Her dad came down, confirmed it was real, called the police. Suffolk County police came to the scene and found 20 feet in from where that first arm was found, the other arm of the male. K9 teams were called onto the scene, and the handlers and dogs went out there, searched 19 acres, and they found on the west side of the park, right outside Babylon Elementary School, or near Babylon Elementary School, a woman's head, arm, and leg. There's been also reports that the other head was found, the male head. Then yesterday or today, a torso was found at Bethpage State Park. We don't know where exactly. They're at an undisclosed location, which makes me think it was a golf course, because that park is mostly golf courses. They also found additional remains outside a wooded area on Lakeway Drive in Babylon. There have been 4 arrests. They have not been identified. And there were no remains found at the home on Railroad Avenue in Amityville. The victims have also not yet been identified, although it is believed that they lived together last in Yonkers, New York, which is in Westchester County. The woman was 59 years old. The man was 53 years old, pending notification of their next of kin. I have not heard anything about a press conference yet, but I hope to bring you some more information when I have it. And that's all we have for now. It is just horrifying. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Thank you also for letting me play the piece on Karen Vergata, who is the first Gilgo victim, really, because her legs were found in 1996. We played a tribute to Karen Vergata. Laura Liz, thank you for becoming a member. Linda Vergata, thank you. You didn't have to do that for your $20 super chat. Just to let you all know, I appreciate you. We appreciate you, and our prayers and love and thoughts are with your family during this very hard time. And Scott, thank you for your super chat. Incidental involvement in love triangles is all media distraction. I still take breaths and still possess all my limbs. Are you involved in a love triangle, Scott? Is that what you're trying to tell us here? A little TMI? A lot of people watching you right now. I say gang, peeps, elementary. We will see. We will see. We can hypothesize, we can theorize, but I can't give you any concrete information because we just don't have it. Yes, please get out and vote, everyone. It is Super Tuesday. Get out and vote. I don't know what time your polls close, but I think here I don't know. I don't know what time they close. So, but find out and please vote because it's important. No matter which way you vote, just vote. Scott says the media is unwilling to tell the public the truth. Thank you all. Thank you. It is getting real. This gives a whole new meaning to Amityville horror. Thank you again to my amazing moderators for keeping the chat classy. To my channel members, I love you and I appreciate you so much. To my viewers, my replay viewers, just, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps this video get out there because who knows? It's probably shadow banned already and nobody's going to see it. But we want to spread the word because what happens here on Long Island is important. Remember, my friends, be cool, be kind, be classy. It's not hard. It is so not hard. Peace out, my friends. I'll see you real soon.